Hello everyone, we are Group 1 and our group members are Hu Sichen, Wang Yiming, Song Xinyao, and Zhang Shihan.
And my name is Hu Sichen. My metric number is 8205988. Let me start with the first question. This question is based on Fisher's equation of exchange, which describes the relationship between the quantity of money in the economy and the level of total spending. The equation is MV equals PY, where M equals money supply, V equals velocity of money, P equals price level, and Y equals real income or real output. The question tells us that individuals hold 1/4 of their nominal income as money, which means M equals 1/4 times PY, and the nominal income is given as PY equals 2,000. We can now use these relationships to find each required value. A. Finding the velocity of money V. Starting from the Fisher's equation, MV equals PY. Substitute M equals 1/4 times PY into it, we can get this equation. Then solve for V, we can get V equals 4. So the velocity of money is 4. Then question B, finding the money supply M. Since PY equals 2,000, so we can get this equation M equals 1/4 times PY equals 1/4 times 2,000 equals 500. Therefore, the money supply M is 500 ringgit. Then question C, finding the price level P if the real income Y is in these 3 different levels. We can again use the Fisher equation M equals PY. Substitute the known values M equals 500 and V equals 4. We can get this equation. 500 times 4 equals PY. So now solve for P equals 2,000 over Y. Let's find P for each level of Y. So when Y equals 200, P equals 10. Y equals 250. So P equals 8. And when Y equals 400, P equals 5. Okay, that's all my part for question 1.
Okay, let's see question D. From B, it can be known that the original money supply M equal to 500,000, 500 ringgit, and V equal to 4, because the money supply increased by 500, M2 equal to 1,000. The first nominal income is PY from MV equal to PY. We can obtain PY equal to 4,000. Okay, let's see. Number 2, the cultural income Y is equal to PY divided by P, and the price are the same as those in the question. That is P cent equal to 10, 8, and 5. When P equal to 10, the Y equal to 400. The P equal to 8, the Y equal to 500. When P equal to 5, the Y equal to 800. Okay, next E. Okay, from the above question, we can see that M equal to 500 at the 3 points A, B, and C, and M2 equal to 1,000 at the 3 points A1, B1, and C1. Point this point on the graph. and link them with small curves to obtain the aid curve. From this, we can see that an increase in M causes the aid curves to shift to the right.
In the short term, for improvement output, monetary expansion only changes nominal quantity and price. Y equal to 400, P equal to 5 on AD0. Currency doubling, the MV has changed from 2000 to 4000. In order to MV equal to PY still holds, and Y remains unchanged equal to 400. The price must double to P equal to MV divided by Y, equal to 4000 divided by 400 equal to 10. New equilibrium is Y equal to 400 remains unchanged, while P equal to 10 doubles. For the G, the first is simple proposition. Both assess that under given or short-term constant velocity or propensity to hold money and actual output, changes in the quantity of money will proportionally out nominal income. Fisher-White MV equal to P1. Cambridge-White M equal to K times Py, and the two are equivalent deformations of each other. V equal to 1 divided by K. The second is the idea of a neutral currency, long or medium T. Both consider real output Y as determined by physical structure factors such as technology, capital, labor, with money primarily affecting nominal variables. Therefore, when output is given, monetary expansion is mainly reflected in changes in price levels.
Alright, now we move to question 2. Using the labor market diagram for the money wage model, nominal wage explain the derivation of the classical aggregate supply curve. The core of the classical view is that wages and the prices are perfectly flexible. This assumption leads to the famous conclusion that the economy is always in a state of full employment. We will derive this in 3 steps. First, the labor market, which determines the real wage. Second, the production function, which explains how employment is transformed into output. And third, the aggregate supply curve, which combines step 1 and 2 to show the relationship between price level and output. We begin with the labor market. As you can see from the graph, labor demand is downward sloping. The lower the real wage, the lower the cost of hiring labor is relative to its output, so firms demand more labor. Labor supply is upward sloping. The higher the real wage, the greater the reward for workers to give up leisure, so they supply more labor. In the classical model, workers and firms care about the real wage, not the nominal wage. So at point A, it's the equilibrium point. At this point, the real wage equals the quantity of labor demand equals the quantity supplied. This is the full employment level. This is no involuntary unemployment. Now let's assume the price level falls. At the moment it falls, the nominal wage is fixed due to existing contracts. A lower price level combined with a fixed money wage means the real wage increases. This higher real wage exceeding the equilibrium level. throwing the labor market into disequilibrium, so firms will demand less labor, and workers are willing to supply more labor. This creates a labor surplus, that is involuntary unemployment. Then unemployment workers want to get a job will be willing to accept a lower money wage. The money wage began to fall. Then it continued to fall until the real wage returns to its original equilibrium level. Therefore, any change in the price level leads to a proportional change in the money wage, leaving the real wage and the level of employment unchanged, so always at the full employment level. Then step 2, the production function. The production function shows the relationship between inputs, labor, L, and the real output. As we know from the first step, since employment is always at L0, output must always be at the corresponding point on the production function, which is Y0, the full employment level of output. And the final step, step 3, deriving the classical aggregate supply curve. Now we can plot the relationship between the price level P and the quantity of real output Y supplied. From the step 1, a change in price has no long-run effect on labor. Labor always returns to L0. From the step 2, if labor is always at L0, the output Y is always at Y0. Consequently, regardless of the price level, the economy will always supply the same level of output, Y0. Thus, the classical aggregate supply curve is a vertical line at Y equals Y0. Okay, that's all for question 2.
The multiple choice questions. Question 1. The question flow of money implies less if the money stock was to double the price level. I chose answer C. Also double. The quantities flow is based on quotient of exchange MV equal PY, assuming velocity and real outputs are constant in the long run. A doubling of money supply must lead to proportional double of price level. And the next question, question 2. Based on the classical model, changes in aggregate demand are driven by the I chosen C. Change in fiscal policy. In classical model, the aggregate demand curve is derived directly from the equation of exchange MV equal MPV. A change in fiscal policy affects the components of aggregate expenditure C plus I plus G, which shift the AD curve. While money supply is also a key driver, it is not listed as an option. Therefore, among the given choice, fiscal policy is the correct driver of AD shift in the context.